All right, there's a new radio show for teenagers and young adults dealing with things like bullying, depression, and other traumatic life events. It's called Quit Trippin'. It was started by a former Utah football player, David Kozlowski. David and former Utah wide receiver Koz and Scott are both here this morning with some of the details. Yeah. Thanks for being here this morning, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So it's called Quit Trippin'.
Yes.
But what is Quit Trippin'?
So Quit Trippin', technically it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We put on support groups here locally in the community for teenagers. And they're not counseling, it's not mental health. It's just a place to hang out with other kids that happen to be going through different life struggles, and they get together, they connect, and when you're hanging out with people who have your back and support you, all the stuff you're tripping out on, you just kind of quit tripping. So that's how the kids came up with the name.
So when you freak out about things that are going on and stressing you out in life, that's just a way to be able to say, all right, I got this.
Exactly. And when you have people around you that they can relate, you know, the root of the word relationship is relate. So when you can hang out with other people who can relate, helps you get through tough times.
So, Kenneth, what do you do on the radio show?
It's basically a social support. And it's basically different people connecting, whether you're an adult or a child, just a platform so people can both relate, which is a good thing because a lot of the older generation feels disconnected with the younger generation. So this is a really good time for both of them to connect and be able to, you know, hash out experiences with each other and be able to grow. So it's a really good opportunity.
And you get people on the show to be able to open up and talk about some of their difficult life experiences?
Yeah, that's one of the cool things. So the premise of the show is really we invite guests, athletes, entertainers, popular public figures, and they come in, and the ones that have a story, they'll come in and we get them to open up and be vulnerable and talk. And what we did in the support groups for many years is we'd have local pro football players, college football players. That's how I met Kenneth. They come in, they start talking about their life, and next thing you know, they have so much in common with this generation because everybody goes through hurt and pain. So the kids hear them talking about their stories, and on the radio show, first half of the radio show is our guests. The second half of the radio show is kids weighing in, talking about like, man, I was really inspired what that person said. Well, I want to talk about something I got going on, or maybe there's something I need support with.
They can feel like it's a safe space to be able to open up, even though it's on the radio.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I love this idea. There's a segment of the show that I read about. It's called So I Got a Friend. Right? Kenneth, what is this, So I Got a Friend?
This is probably one of my favorite segments because it's basically you speaking from third person, but you're talking about yourself, but it's really your, you acting like it's your friend.
So tell them how you started out.
So so I got this friend, you know, he's not doing too well, and that's just basically how you started out, just like that, and then you go on with, you know, what you dealing with at that time. It's just so you can be like incognito, you know what I mean? So
right.
You want to feel like, you know, you're not.
You can own up to it, but you don't have to be like.
Exactly.
It gives you a little courage when you need it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We had to come up with creative ways to get teenagers to, because imagine we're doing these support groups with teenagers face to face. They're not texting each other. They're not communicating through social media, so they're in a room face to face. And they wanted to be there, they wanted to talk, but we had to come up with ways, segments, so to speak, to get them to open up and talk. So we figured that out for 7 years. Now we're just going to do that on the radio.
And so why is this important to you?
It's important to me, and I know it's important to Kenneth too, because he and I both have some past life experience, some hardships. When I played football at the U, oddly enough, this summer I got an award for, you know, I had a suicide attempt when I played football at the U. And, you know, I overdosed on some pain pills, and lucky enough, Coach Ron McBride came to my hospital. He didn't know what was going on. He said a couple really loving, inspiring words that inspired me to kind of turn my life around at that moment. And so later on, I become a, you know, a counselor, you know, a marriage and family therapist. And Kenneth, he's got his life story where it's like, you know, you get done playing football, and I think all athletes, we want to still be influential and inspiring, but we just don't have a platform how to do it. So that's why we got to give a big shout out to ESPN, because they're like, man, there's a lot of athletes going through a lot of hard times, and they could really influence this young generation. So when we came to them about the radio show, I mean, they gave us the red carpet, and they have been giving us the red carpet.
I'd love to hear more about it. People want to go check out the show. Kenneth, where do they find it?
You can find it online at quittrippin.org, or you can tune in to ESPN 700s Tuesday nights from 7 to 9, and you'll be able to hear the good voices of me and David Kozlowski on there, and a ton of guests.
We appreciate both of you guys being on this morning. Of course, you'll find all the information on our website as well, goodforutah.com/GMU. Kenneth?